sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, let's get ready for another deep dive. This time we're looking at all the Premier League matches happening this Saturday, January 25th, 2025 to be exact. And we've got some interesting predictions and analysis from a betting website to help us out. We're going to break it all down and find the really interesting stuff, the surprising stats, the kind of stuff that'll make you sound like a real expert with your footy friends.
It's really amazing, the amount of data that these websites actually use to try and predict these matches. I mean, they look at everything, like past results and how well players are performing, even things like when managers change teams.
Okay, so we've got 6 matches to cover this Saturday. Let's start with the ones kicking off at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
First up, we've got Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest. And both of these teams are on incredible unbeaten streaks. Bournemouth has gone 11 games without a loss, and Forest is right behind them with 9 games.
It's crazy. And get this, Bournemouth hasn't lost to Forest since all the way back in 2015.
Whoa, that's a long time. So you're saying history might repeat itself?
Well, the prediction actually leans towards a draw. But they also say that both teams will probably score.
Sounds like it could be a really exciting game. Okay, moving on to the next 3 p.m. kickoff, we've got Brighton hosting Everton. And Brighton has been scoring a lot of goals this season.
Yeah, they really like to attack. I mean, just look at the stats. Both teams have scored in something like 77% of Brighton's games so far this season.
77%? Wow, that's a lot of goals. But Everton hasn't been doing so well on the road.
You're right. Their away record is pretty bad. They've only won 1 out of the last 10 away games.
So you'd think Brighton would be the clear favorites, right?
Well, surprisingly, the prediction is another draw. They seem to think that Everton might just be able to hold off Brighton's attack.
Interesting. All right, let's look at another 3 p.m. kickoff. This one is Southampton versus Newcastle. And this is a huge match for Southampton. If they lose, they're in real danger of getting relegated.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on them, especially since they're playing Newcastle, who, until very recently, had been on a 9-game winning streak.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize they were doing that well.
They were, but that streak just got broken by, would you believe it, Bournemouth?
Oh, wow, really? Talk about an upset. But wait, I just remembered something. Newcastle has won their last 3 away games against Southampton, right?
You're absolutely right, and I think that's why, despite that recent loss to Bournemouth, Newcastle is still predicted to win this match.
It makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears and head over to Anfield, where Liverpool will be taking on Ipswich Town, also at 3 p.m., of course. And Liverpool has been absolutely dominant under their new manager, Arne Slot. They've only lost 1 league game so far.
Yeah, they're looking really strong. It's a shame for Ipswich, though, They're coming into this match after a really tough 6-0 loss to Man City.
Ouch, yeah. That can't be good for their confidence. So no surprises here. The prediction is a comfortable win for Liverpool, right?
That's right. And it's a win that could really cement their place at the top of the table.
Absolutely. Okay, now for a match with a bit of potential drama. Wolves versus Arsenal, another 3 p.m. kickoff. And Wolves haven't been doing so well lately. They had a good start under their new manager, but they've lost their last 3 games.
Yeah, and to make things worse, there are rumors that their star player, Matthias Cunha, might be leaving.
Oh, wow. I hadn't heard that.
It's not confirmed yet, but if he does leave, that would be a huge blow for Wolves.
Definitely. But for Arsenal, this is a must-win game, right?
Yeah.
They need to keep up with Liverpool.
Exactly. And they got a good track record at Wolves Stadium. Get this. They won 3 out of their last 5 matches there. And every single one of those wins was by the same score, 2-0.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is, isn't it? And, not surprisingly, the prediction is another Arsenal victory.
Okay, and now for the big one, the late kickoff. Manchester City versus Chelsea at 5:30 p.m. And both of these teams have been a little bit unpredictable lately, although Chelsea's coming into this match with a recent win.
That's true, but City is under a lot of pressure after their recent Champions League disappointment. They lost to PSG, even though they were winning 2-0 at one point.
Ouch, yeah. So do you think that gives Chelsea an advantage?
Well, it's not so simple. You have to remember that, historically, City has been dominant against Chelsea. They haven't lost to them in their last 10 meetings.
Wow, 10 meetings. That's a long time.
It is, but Chelsea did just beat Wolves, so maybe they can break that curse.
Maybe.
Well, the prediction is actually a draw, and they even suggest that Chelsea might come from behind to get it.
That would be an exciting finish. Now,
Yeah,
there's something else. Looking back at all these predictions, it kind of feels like there aren't going to be many clean sheets this Saturday.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like there are going to be a lot of goals. Maybe the defenses are taking a break this week.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder who's going to be the star scorer this week. Did the predictions mention any standout players?
Actually, yeah, they did. For the Liverpool match, they're saying Mo Salah is going to score. Maybe even get a brace.
Oh, yeah, classic Mo. Always loves to find the back of the net. Any other potential goal-scoring heroes we should keep an eye on?
They also mentioned Alexander Isak. I think he might score the first goal for Newcastle against Southampton.
Interesting. I'll have to watch out for that. What about the Arsenal match? Any predictions for who might score there?
Let me see. Oh, yeah, they've got Kai Havertz down to score.
Okay, cool. So those are some big names to look out for. But you never know in football, right? There could always be some surprise hero.
Oh, definitely. That's what makes it so exciting.
All right. Well, let's step back for a second and look at the bigger picture. How do you think these predictions could affect the title race and the relegation battle?
Yeah, it's like a giant game of chess. Every result can shift the balance of power.
Totally. So what jumps out at you?
Well, if Liverpool win like they're predicted to, it's going to create a pretty big gap between them and the other teams trying to win the title. Really strengthen their position.
Yeah, a 9-point lead would be huge. And at the other end of the table, Southampton really need to win, don't they? This match against Newcastle is crucial.
Absolutely, it is. If they lose and some of the other teams near the bottom win, they could be in real trouble.
So even a win might not be enough. They need to start putting a good run of results together to really pull away from the relegation zone.
Exactly. Momentum is key. And that's why these matches this Saturday are so important. They're not just isolated events. You know, they can spark a team's momentum or completely derail it.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. One result influences the next, creates a whole chain reaction. We can try to predict and analyze as much as we want, but at the end of the day, football is beautifully chaotic.
That's the truth. We can arm ourselves with knowledge and insights, but we also have to accept that we can't predict everything.
Well said. I think we need a quick break. We'll be right back to wrap up this Premier League deep dive.
All right, we're back, ready to wrap things up. Our deep dive into this Saturday's Premier League matches. It's been pretty interesting, right? Thinking about all the different ways things could go.
Yeah, definitely. We have uncovered some really interesting possibilities.
We have. So before we go, let's just try and sum up, what are the biggest takeaways here?
Well, I think the main thing is just how unpredictable this weekend is going to be. I mean, we've got teams on long winning streaks, teams fighting to avoid relegation, and then a bunch of matches where the predictions are saying it'll be a draw. It just shows you, how competitive the Premier League really is.
For sure. Anything can happen.
Okay.
And that's what makes it so exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of surprises, I was really surprised by that predicted draw between Brighton and Everton.
Yeah, that one stood out to me too. I mean, Brighton has been so strong in attack, and Everton's away form has been so bad.
So it makes you think, maybe Everton is going to try a different strategy. Sit back a bit more, be more defensive, and try to hit Brighton on the counterattack.
Yeah, it could be a real tactical battle.
Right.
And what about that other draw, the one between Manchester City and Chelsea?
Yeah, that's another interesting one.
Yeah.
Especially because City has been so dominant against Chelsea in recent years.
Right.
So if Chelsea manages to get a draw, it could really shake things up at the top of the table.
Yeah, that would be huge. And of course, we can't forget about the possibility of some upsets. Like, what if Southampton beats Newcastle, even though they're struggling?
It could definitely happen. That's the beauty of football, right? Sometimes the underdogs come out on top.
So as we wrap this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listener to remember?
I'd say just embrace the uncertainty. This Saturday is going to be a roller coaster with matches that could go either way. So enjoy the ride. The goals, the saves, the drama, it's all part of what makes football so great.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to our listener, we have a question for you. Which match are you most excited for? And why? Let us know. And until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep the passion for the beautiful game alive.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have the ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all